Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hopscotch movie.
Good God, is this how we're starting it?
This is how we're starting it.
God. I don't know why that's one of the ones I regret most. I have actively spat up like a toddler on my fucking desk before. That's the one I regret.
You're like, oh, the Hopscotch movie. That's a horrible opening.
No, just like as an icebreaker, it just doesn't feel right. No, but yeah, I do love the idea of the hopscotch movie though. Like I'm trying to think of like, well, there was already a dodgeball movie, but I kind of want a better one.
What about a tetherball movie?
Oh my God! Wait, okay, so combined with the Jenga movie, like you could have like you could so now like okay, so we were talking about before the episode the idea of like, you know, games that everyone knows are either are older or could have been older than any of the like video game movies that we've seen in the past. It's because the reason why I say could have been older is because tetherball feels like it was invented in like the 80s or 90s or something, but that could have been invented in like the 12th century or something, you know. And so I would love to see all these like fucking super analog simple games that like fit in like an ancient period piece sort of thing taking place there collected as a game movie like that. That'd be fun. Yeah.
What other games would make stupid movies?
I'm no longer saying
the
each game by
game
themselves,
where you put like one hand and then another person puts their hand on your hand and then you put your hand on top. I think that'd make a good movie.
Wait, I don't know if you played this on the playground or if someone was just trying to like fuck with me in a painful way. I'm gonna be honest. But so did you ever like in elementary school on the playground, someone takes your hands, you like they tell you to stick your hands out and you like I guess like your fingers are spread out a little bit, you know, as if like basically as if you're bracing yourself to like fall over forward. And you press both people's hands together, almost like a freeze frame in patty cake. And they keep pushing and pushing and pushing on your fingers until you essentially say uncle, like, and like you see how far you can go before it's like, oh, that hurts too much, and then they let go, and that's like the game. That's like one of them.
I think you were being bullied.
No, I feel like it's a thing though. Like I
mean, it feels like something that a bunch of children would do. I probably wouldn't call it a game. That sounds like, let's see if this idiot will think this is a game.
It feels gamey to me in some way. Like
it's an endurance to you as a game, so of course it feels gamey.
I saw it. Here's the thing that like I don't think this was just a bullying thing, because I saw like whether they were doing it with me at the time as well or not, they were doing it with like with people they do like as well. That makes it sound worse, but like yeah, they were just like doing it to pass the time in the classroom if all the shit was done. Just to pushing on each other's fingers, see how far you could go. You weren't gonna realistically like break a fucking finger like that. I don't think so. Not unless one to use a fucking bodybuilder, which not in elementary school, but yeah.
I don't know. There's some pretty buff toddlers.
Name one.
Buff Toddler. Don't you remember him from the movie Buff Toddler?
I really truly can't.
It's a sequel to Boss Baby.
Are you? I couldn't tell if you were fucking with me. Like I had a feeling this is like a thing, like just a super big thing I somehow missed for a second.
Yeah. Let's see. Now I gotta Google it.
Buff Toddler. It's got now. I'm thinking it's got to be a thing.
This is a bunch of pictures.
I'm not searching for buff toddlers. I'm not doing this. I'd rather stare at turtle eggs like I did for a previous episode, apparently.
They look very funny. Anyway.
What the fuck do you mean?
Because it's like, they look jacked. It's like, babies shouldn't look jacked. It's funny. The baby's been hitting the gym since they were born.
Are you seeing like a doctored image, or is this like a thing?
I have no fucking clue. It's so low quality, but I don't know. The toddler looks buff. It could just be like, oh, they're fat in the places muscles are, presumably.
That makes sense. Fat distribution.
And just because babies are so small, it just kind of looks like more muscle. But anyway, hello, welcome to the Thought Bubble.
Welcome to the Thought Bubble.
But yeah,
Now that
we
we're
do
done with
this on a
Bob
weekly
Toddler.
basis, and we still don't know what the fuck we're doing.
I mean, I feel like we know exactly what the fuck we're doing. This is what the fuck we're doing.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Um,
So, where do you want to take it?
I'm actually going to start with the last thing in our title, which is talking about phones.
Okay.
Because I haven't talked in a while, but I still have the Pixel and the iPhone. And my main complaint with the iPhone right now is that it's too big. When the next one comes out into this year, I'm gonna get the smaller version. And I think it's just like, because I just want to use this for work, I'm wanting to use it less. But I'm still liking my iPhone. I still think it is a very good experience. However, I've been using my Pixel more at home, and I just got last night a Android watch, the Samsung something watch. And so I'm wearing that right now, and I wore it to bed. Apparently my sleep is good, which I don't believe is true. I think it's wrong. But
I've had that.
I have it set up because I could swear remembering waking up like 3 different times in the middle of the night, and it only said I woke up once. I think it's just wrong.
Maybe you were just super chill when you were waking up in the middle of the night.
Apparently. But here's one thing that seems a little bit weird in my experience right now. I have on my Pixel a very small scratch that I was not able to just like kind of, mush your finger over to make sure it's like it's not actually a scratch. But there's a small scratch in the screen, and I can kind of see it when I look for it. It's not bad, but like the fact that it's there is something. And the beginning of this sentence is going to make you feel vindicated until the end of the sentence. I have dropped my iPhone twice onto asphalt.
But it didn't do anything to it.
You wouldn't be able to tell.
I was actually like, that's relevant to what I was like thinking just before you said the vindication thing, because I was like, with how secure you feel in not having a fucking phone case, or okay, sorry, actually, I want to preface this because we never talked about screen protectors. Do you feel the same way about those? Because those don't like change.
One for the Pixel apparently, but not for
Is
my
that
iPhone.
a normal thing for you to get? Like,
No.
Do you get those? Okay, so God, fucking.
I don't remember the last time I've used a screen protector even on my old Androids.
I bet you don't use a condom. Anyway, so
well,
but
my girlfriend's gonna really like hearing that part.
I bet you don't use a helmet when you ride a bike. Anyway, fucking, we've been through this. Anyway, the reason I was asking that is because I'm like, how common are scratches for you? Because if like outright maybe cracks aren't, or little scuffs that are like noticeable, like, are you? I guess it matters if like you keep your keys in the same pocket as your phone or whatever. But are scratches a common thing?
I do not do that.
Yeah, same.
No,
same
I
here.
don't get scratches on my phone screen. Actually, I'm having trouble seeing where it is on the Pixel now, so maybe it was a smudge. I just got rid of it eventually. It just wasn't coming off yesterday. But I don't really get scratches on my phone screen. I think the last time I remember one, other than the Pixel here, but I can't see it anymore, so I'm not going to necessarily count that as a scratch, was on the Z Flip 3. And that was less a scratch and more those screens are kind of squishy, so I think my thumbnail or something kind of poked into it and dented it.
I hate that kind of possibility. I don't like that at all.
I think that was on the screen protector that comes with that phone. So I guess that's the last time I used a screen protector, but it's not when I went out and bought it. It comes with the phone. And I took it off and it wasn't on the screen below. So take it as you wish.
I'm going to keep the headcanon that you walk around in your daily life with like you're doing a fucking like you do the posture walk, but instead of a book on your head, it's your phone, and that's just how you just go about your day-to-day life. Because if you don't keep anything on your phone, yet you don't get scratches, cracks, scuffs, or what have you until this little eensy micro scratch happened to be the first thing to blip your radar on it,
And
at
it's
least for a
on a
while.
phone that doesn't leave
Yeah.
the house. Like, it
Though,
stays at home.
which is insulting, frankly. And
Yeah.
I okay, I do want to say, like, to your credit in this, I really appreciate that, at least like from where I'm sitting, because I'm not an expert on any of these things. But it does feel like, okay, an iPhone is an iPhone. Like, you're not going to get more Apple or iPhone than that. But on the Android side of like trying both phones, it does feel like you've kind of gone for the most Android, because of course, like, so many services that Android relies upon are tied to Google, as we all know. And so you went for like a Pixel phone. Like, I guess someone could make the argument that like a Samsung would have been like, because that's the one most associated, at least in terms of what
Yeah,
I
I
think.
think
I've
like
only
if
got to
you want the
forecast
most
along.
Android, you get a Pixel.
Yeah.
If you want the most Android experience, you get a Samsung.
What do you mean experience?
Because, like, when you think of a lot of Android things, they're actually Samsung things.
Yeah, that's fair.
I can't think of it off the top of my head, but like, there's One UI is very Android feeling, but it's Samsung. So
Yeah.
I think there's also a couple more customization things that Samsung has that actually base Android doesn't. So that's interesting. So
yeah,
it just
so
depends
far,
on if you want
yeah.
stock Android or the Android everybody uses.
I mean, yeah, there is two different dichotomies to that. It's like, if you, this kind of feels like we're just talking about different like Linux distros at this point. Like,
Yeah.
in terms
You
of like,
get
you know,
Mint
you
or you get Arch.
frankly, I only ever hear in the non like super dev circles of like hunting around for what kind of experience you can get in this realm, in terms of just like somebody who is like, oh, what you be introduced to in a way that's like the least friction experience with the most compatibility and most cohesion of experience. I really only ever hear Mint tossed around. I used to hear a handful, but now I just hear Mint.
Yeah, Mint is kind of cemented itself um
Mhm.
as the go-to Linux for non-Linux users.
Also, quick note before I forget. Um, when my sister was coming over recently, she brought her Steam Deck, which I don't have extensive experience with that. This is going to get relevant in a second. This is a Linux thing. Um, okay, so for those of you who don't know, like, if you're not much of a gamer, don't use Steam much. Steam has always had or for over a decade, has had a big picture mode where you can switch the interface on your computer to feel more like a console, especially if you're using a gamepad. And when the Steam Deck came out, they changed the entire thing so that it looks like just the interface of the Steam Deck and functions that way to make like a cohesive experience. And what I've always known in like the power menu there, which it's very weird that they have like shutdown and stuff in like the PC version, but I digress. Anyway, I've always seen quit to desktop, like as in big picture mode anyway, like it's always been there. When I was fucking around with my sister's Steam Deck, they have a quit to desktop feature. You could just use that to switch to it works. Just you anybody who has a Steam Deck, you could do this right now. You could go to a Linux desktop environment that vaguely resembles Windows, in any like basic way that you used to, and they have like little built-in places to find like libraries of like FOSS software in there that's compatible with this Linux distro. They have like all the software I've been shouting about, fucking Krita, OpenTunes. They got all sorts of coding shit as well. They got, yeah, it's beautiful. Inkscape, and I just think it's really, really cool. They got directories for that. Anyway, I totally digressed from what you were saying. Sorry, you can get back on your point.
SteamOS. I think they're like working up to a desktop release of SteamOS.
I believe they are, but
and like
even
there's
right
like some
now,
testing being done
yeah.
now.
If anybody listening to this right now has a Steam Deck and like a dock to where you can get like PC peripherals attached, which is something I think has always been, if not just for a while, it's been there. Then right now you could just do, depending on like the compatibility that certain graphics tablets have with, you know, with the specific kind of Linux that it uses. You know, I'm just telling you, any of you, you can use a bunch of FOSS software and related products. You can download it and just use it on your Steam Deck, just using that storage, using its functionality. You can probably map the buttons to whatever you want. Hotkeys. Yeah.
Yeah, what were we on before?
Yeah, you were comparing your Pixel and your iPhone usage. Sorry, I totally
I'm gonna look for this scratch one more time. Okay,
if you can't find it again, that's gonna be so vindicating.
Yeah, I don't see it now, but that makes sense. Like, I don't know how it would get scratched, so it makes more sense that it's not actually scratched. I just couldn't get this fucking like streak off of it for the life of me. I was trying so hard.
That makes sense. I've had hard ones.
But yeah, again, I have no fear, and I've never been punished. So I'm not getting a screen protector. I'm not getting a case.
You are made of survivor's bias.
Well, I'm a survivor. Blood. What can I say?
You are the I drank water out of the fucking person. You are the Ashley, you're the I love when men were men, women were women, and gay people didn't exist. This is what you are for the phone world.
Well, I am just saying, why would I spend extra money on things that do not do anything for me?
Never mind. This is like you're making like if I just met you based on this this position you hold, I would assume you're like a rich person who's out of touch who could just like buy another phone tomorrow out of nothing. Yeah.
I will say I'm being more consciously careful about how I am using my iPhone, because I have dropped it twice now while not being punished. But I do know that is only so far, so I'm being more careful because I know exactly this. It fell in the exact same way twice, so I'm just not putting it in that position again. So it just won't happen again.
There's so many chronicles to this, and frankly, we'd have less content if you're more responsible with your technology. So
the way that it fell is when I'm riding in a car, I'll use my phone sometimes, and I just like slide it in between my legs when I'm not using it. Because like getting it in and out of my pocket's real difficult while sitting.
Fair.
And then we'll get to wherever we're going. I'll open up the door, just stand up, and it will just slide right out of the car. And so that's what happened. And I did it twice. And so now, instead of putting it between my legs, I'm putting it on the other side of me that's closest to the center of the car. So when I do get up, the furthest it goes is the middle of my seat.
Sure, but do you not have like one of those sticky phone cases, the phone stands for your car?
No, this is I'm a passenger.
Okay.
So no, is in use by the driver.
Well, okay. I'm saying you could have both because there's a you could have like a it does make sense. Like I'm not. Usually cars don't have two of them, but I'm like,
do two. That's too much.
I know it's not normal to do two, but I also know like for anybody in a car who like is really specifically thinking about where they're putting their phone, like then I'm like, oh, you try and find like a nice affordable adhesive stand, like it's or you just
really
reach into your pocket.
Put it beside you.
Yeah, well, it's also free. But it's also like, I don't know. I feel like something in my heart feels like that's more finicky than just putting it in my pocket. Because if I'm a passenger, frankly, I'm okay with just like swerving my whole body inside the car just to make my pocket more accessible. My feet don't have to go.
Because then I'm uncomfortable. I'd rather just have it be there and I can just grab it. Like I'm kind of like half sitting on it. Well, no, it's because I wear them right, and so they're not halfway down my leg.
Do you think I'm low riding all the time?
I'm just saying,
What are you
with how
getting
I
at?
wear my pants, like they're really up almost to my side here, and so like getting into them while seated is a fucking chore.
I wear my pants as high waisted as possible bisexually, and so I just like I have them just with a good grip and they're comfy, and I just reach into my pocket if I swerve my whole body and it's all pillowy.
I'm not swerving my whole body to grab my phone when I could just kind of sit on my phone and still be able to grab it really easily without having to move my body. I'm not doing
It just feels like an extra step to like have to remember to pick up your phone instead of it already being in your pocket when you leave the car.
I ain't forgetting my phone, so that's not even an issue for me.
Maybe that's just a me
Whenever
thing.
I
I like
go
to dart
anywhere,
around
I
the
do my
car.
pocket check to make sure that I know I have all of the things in my pocket that I want. So
I think that's a
no matter
good.
what, I already do it.
I do think that's like a responsible thing. Usually, my pocket check is like leaving the house, and if I did anything specifically strenuous, and that's about it.
Yeah, no, I do it whenever like I leave the house. Then when I get out of the car, then like when I go to work, it's like, oh, I get to work. I don't check it when I get to work, but like when I go on a break, when I come back from my break, just to make sure I have everything. When I'm leaving work.
What kind of pants do you wear? Like, I'm curious.
Pants? I don't know, jeans?
Okay, because it's like, well, because there's different pants are gonna have a different level of grip. I feel like.
To explain yourself? What do you mean?
Like the grip on whatever's in your pockets.
Oh, well, yeah, but I mean, anything that I'm walking around with, I have deep pockets, so...
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be
That makes
most of the
sense.
reason, is I have really deep pockets, and so, like, the very top of my pocket, one, I wear tight, so, like, it's hard to get my hand in there anyway, unless I'm standing fully straight up, because it's just, like, I have to kind of wriggle in, because they're tight pants.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. If it wasn't wildly impractical, I would love to have like knee-deep pockets in my pants that are also
And you
wide
get
enough to
cargo
not make that.
pants.
Like, okay, so my pants do have like a. Okay, this is gonna sound just like past a certain point. This is gonna sound like spaciously gluttonous, but I do have like cargo pockets on the sides of my thighs on my pants. But I would love if also the normal pockets like would be on a pair of jeans of this equivalent type. If it just had essentially a whole fucking sack in there, and not like, long but thin like a sword sheath. I mean long and then wide to compensate, to make it not a weird pocket to where it's like essentially like if the opening wasn't way too small and you really wanted to, you could fit like a small tablet in there. I would love that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pro pockets.
Yeah.
I like pockets.
Especially
I like
in
being able
women's
to fit
clothing, including
things.
dresses.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had to stand where we are.
I'm trying to think, like, my everyday carry is pretty small. I wish there was an easy way for me to carry everything and both of my phones sometimes.
Mm.
But, like, there's not really a great way to do that.
I'm the kind of person who would like to take like enough with me on my way anywhere to like be able to settle down for a while and have like a modest little workstation. Like that's like, I know it's not practical or efficient. It's just it's like it's comforting to me to be able to be like, oh, if I want to go and sit in a park and still work on things and do it with like a past a certain level of practicality because of just what I brought with me, then I do like I'm one of those people who straight up, if it wasn't a total pain in the ass, would bring a duffel bag everywhere. Yeah.
I was that person in college.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, at that point, I had a bunch of stuff I had to carry with me because
That's
college.
fair.
So, I don't know. I should get another bag of some sort because I want to carry around my notebook more. Maybe I might do that later today. Go out and buy a bag because I have a
If
little
I
backpack, but I don't want a backpack.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
want just like a
backpack is
little
a bit much
side
to carry
bag.
everywhere. Yeah.
Also, I don't like backpacks because like there's the part of me that grew up in the city where I'm just like, it's behind me, someone's stealing my shit.
Yeah. Like that, even in like a part of the city where you wouldn't really expect that. That's like not fun. Cause like, I don't know, the times I've been to like downtown Toronto, I don't tend to see that happen with people, and it's frankly a really stupid area to do that. But it's also like, I don't know, what if I want to go in for something at like literally any moment? Walking around, that could happen, and I'm just like, I don't want to finagle my way all the way around to the back of my body. A satchel is a much better option for like everyday carry. That's like
Yeah,
we've talked about that. That's
I don't
just
want
have it
like
on the
a
side, like
whole
a holster.
satchel, you know. I want like a backpack, but it goes on your side.
Well,
A
like
satchel just feels like so much.
I think there's a lot of different sizes of satchel though, because I feel like there's like fanny pack size satchels, and then there's grandpa size satchels. You know?
Well, I think after a certain point of smallness, it just becomes a bag, like a purse.
I guess I would just call it a satchel. Well, yeah, because a purse, I guess, could have like a really long hoop. I don't tend to think of them that way though. I guess I tend to think of like the spatial formatting as more of what defines a satchel than the contents. Like if you showed me like a phone case size satchel, but it had the same aesthetic formatting, then I'd be like, yeah, that's a satchel.
I'm gonna put a picture in the Discord. Because I want, what are you calling this a satchel? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, 100%. I'm calling that a satchel.
Because I would just call that a bag.
Like, now, okay, I think stylistically, this is at the edge of satchel, but if I like squint my eyes to where like the flap is like feasibly in a different place, this is 1,000,000,000% satchel. Yeah.
I actually need to look at how deep it is because it kind of just looks like a lunchbox.
I hope it's insulated. That'd be actually great. Yeah. Are we doing bag talk again?
It's apparently $25 on Amazon. Brand is generic.
I don't trust that to last a good while.
Okay. Yeah, no, I wouldn't buy this really. But...
Yeah, no, like it's like I know that expensive bags is not really something you can like. Like you have to be careful about that shit, but it's also if this thing looks like that and it's under 50, I'm like, this thing is falling apart in like a year.
Yeah.
At most, yeah. Because I've had shoes made of that shit. Yeah, I can see the crack points.
Probably later today, I'll try to get a bag of some sort. Because I am going on a day trip later. So I would like to bring more things than just what fits in my pockets.
Yeah, I feel like if I somehow had like a bag that just had essentially a TARDIS bag to where like it was still like light and practical to carry around, but it had just this enormous amount of room in it, I feel like I would be an irrecoverable hoarder.
You just need a bag of holding.
I need a bag of holding. If I had a bag of holding, there's a reasonable chance it would ruin my life. I would fall into addiction way too much. I'm already too much of a hoarder as much as I can manage. You should have seen me at fucking Fan Expo a handful of years ago, where it's like literally I went around to see how many fucking free posters I could find and gathered like whatever other trinkets I could find that they were just giving out. And it was really, really hard to carry that bag home. And I'm like, I refuse to leave even one poster behind. I walked out with like over 20, maybe even 30.
That makes sense.
These were not small. Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, this is my.
Do you have any more on a bag or phones?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, because I was like, did I already do the fucking AI one? Anyway, what else did you want to move on to?
I wanted to talk about a couple of games. Specifically one right now. I don't know if because I pre-enrolled in it, but there is a demo or a play test right now for Rematch, which is a soccer game, but it's by the people who made Sifu, this like very stylistic kung fu kind of game. I think it's kung fu. I hope that's not terrible of me. It's some Asian martial art kind of game.
That doesn't cover a quarter of the world or anything.
But I played a couple rounds of it. Number one, goalies stay in the fucking goal. What is wrong with you? Why are you halfway across the fucking... Okay, anyway.
Oh, that's not reasonable.
Yeah. Very fun. Highly recommend playing it. Just don't go into quick play because apparently nobody knows how to play a goalie. They just want to play every other position.
So, wait, what is the name of the game again?
It is Rematch.
Rematch.
Yep.
I like the title.
But yeah, play a couple rounds of that. It's fun. Probably going to play more later. But the main game I've actually been spending my time on in this last week is Fantasy Life I. It is self-described as a slow life RPG. So think about like Animal Crossing vibes with actual stuff to do. Like there's actual quests. There's RPG elements in it. So the basic gameplay loop is that there are 14 lives you can choose from, and that basically just means jobs. So it goes anywhere from like mining, mercenary, artistry, farming. Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah. Let me see what else are the other lives.
Because because I was looking for when you said it was Animal Crossing but with like actual stuff to do. I'm like because I was wondering if it was similar to like what I envisioned that fucking Shire game that's coming out for the Switch 2. Like I thought maybe it'd be like that. And everything besides mercenary kind of matches like my idea of that. But that kind of, I don't know, makes it feel like a really like lopsided weird addition to that kind of game, at least the way I see it in my head.
Well, it's mercenary more in the way of like you don't work for a structured kind of entity and you go around doing the random quests that require somebody who knows how to wield a sword. Whereas like there's also Paladin where you're more structured. I think you have like a shield instead of the mercenary, which has like a great sword. So it's just like different kinds of fighting instead of like, oh, you're a Paladin with a great sword. You don't get that. You're a mercenary with a great sword and a Paladin with a sword and a short sword and a shield. I'm trying to remember any of the other lives. There's a tailor, so you can make clothes. I don't remember if there was carpentry.
Are you killing people in this game? Like
no, monsters. Yeah, just monsters.
Okay, because even killing monsters is I don't know. I gotta see it. I'm not gonna judge it before I see it.
It's a very cutesy art style. I can try to just like grab the... I'm sure everybody listening to this loves when I click on a Steam page and they can hear it.
I do not specifically, a video. But one thing that I wonder is like, could you just like, if you wanted to, just never pick certain of those lives? Like, for instance, if you didn't want any part in like combat, for instance, could you just leave that to like an AI to take care of? AI in the gaming sense, of course, not in like the ChatGPT sense.
Yes, but like most of the main storyline, you're going around and ending up fighting things along the way. So you're gonna want to do that because your companions aren't as good at those things as you might want them to be. It does want you to play the game, and experience at least a level of everything. So like you don't have to be like always fighting to get to like a point where you can be happy without necessarily moving forward in the actual fighting gameplay. I know there's also like a mage life, so you could do spells to also do damage instead of having to do the sword play.
Yeah, it does sound like a fun game. It sounds like a good game, but it's also for me personally, this is where I don't really like to mix my peas and carrots. Like if I'm playing a combat game, I want to play a combat game. If I want to play like a chill, cute, fun, lifestyle game, then I want to play that. I don't tend to want to mix the two very much, and so that's what steers me personally. You don't have to
much. I'm trying to remember anything specifically. Do you even really have to fight that much? It's a few fights that they force you to do, and just to make those easier, you would want to fight other things to level up. But like I didn't start out with a fighting life. I chose Taylor, and I got through just fine. In fact, I don't think I chose a fighting one until like well into like after the tutorial area, which the tutorial is a little bit long. But that's just to kind of like get you acquainted with the world and how it works, because there's 3 different worlds you travel between.
Okay. So, like, okay. If I'm like, let's say, playing this game every day, a little handful of times squared away daily, I'm loving this game. Like, how often conceivably, if I'm like not looking to fight, am I fighting? That is basically the main thing I'm asking.
It depends on if you really want to get into the story. The story, there's more fighting. But if you just want to play and like build your like little community, because you have a little island that you take care of, that's where like the new Animal Crossing comparisons are most obvious, is you have a little town that you make. And there is terraforming. It really just feels like a better Animal Crossing in those moments. You don't really have to do a lot once you get the people that you want. Once you get set up, you basically can forget about it.
Okay, that's fair.
It takes a little bit to get set up. So like you're going to front load a lot of your experience with other things. But I would say also fighting isn't anything special. You swing your sword and then it's done.
Okay.
It's not an in-depth mechanic.
Okay, good. Like, because it sounded like there was
not
like in-depth
half of the time you're farming and then half of the time you're playing Dark Souls, as isn't how the game is.
Yeah, I guess I should have asked about that as well, because
there is a dodge, a light swing, and a heavy swing, and that's basically it.
Oh, okay.
And let me tell you, you don't really need to dodge.
In so my family's got a Minecraft server we go on occasionally, and I like in our server, the way that my partner set it up is that like at home base there is like enough spread of torches that, like, especially with Insomnia turned off, and thank you for setting that up, you don't really have to like it's fully like, unless you venture out yonder, you're not taking care of monsters. Maybe outside of a very rare instance of like one of the fucking water zombies coming up. And so I'm like, oh yeah, this is like maybe if I played it daily, once every like 3 days, I am really finding anything to worry about if I did stay just at the main camp. And so that to me, that's a sweet spot where I could go out, but I only find like a fraction of it while I'm at home base.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're not fighting while you're doing anything on the island. You have to go out and make the fights happen. I will say, like, if you want to go out and find more people, because one of the conceits of this world is people have life energy of how good they are at their life. It makes for some funny dialogue. Let me try to find a screenshot I took real quick. Do you have a life? Because my nose says you do not.
Oh my god!
Like, why don't you get a life?
It's like, Is it
because they call jobs lives. So it's just funny. They're just like, why don't you have a job?
Frankly, that doesn't sound much less cutthroat as just like, do you have a job? You don't look like you have a job. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure it's
really
not like
funny.
supposed to be said that way. Yeah. Yeah.
But oh gosh, where was I going with that? Yeah, I think you don't need to do any of the specific lives that you don't want to do. Like it didn't force me to go back and become a fighter at any point. You have like a jobless version of yourself because you like get into different outfits when you're in a different job. So like your normal outfit, you can fight in that. You just like don't get all of the extras that like a fighting class would give you.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, so we've talked a lot about the fighting, but like what's the in-depth, like you're taking care of home-based kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, so the conceit, that's where I was at.
Yes.
Some people have a ton of life energy because they're so good at the thing that they do.
Holy
and
shit.
There is something going around and taking it from them. And when that happens, they turn into objects. And they kind of lose
Like
some of their
permanently?
memory. And not permanently, you can fix them.
Okay.
So the first one you end up meeting is a dresser. And you can give them back their humanhood. And you find out, like, oh, hey, this person was a carpenter, so they turned into a dresser. Or whatever.
Kind of cute, not gonna lie.
But you turn them back and then they become a person at your village. And they can also accompany you. I think you can have 3 people accompany you everywhere you go. And they will help you do things like fight, which they're not very good at. But they'll help you fight. They can give you buffs. They can debuff enemies. Which is funny because there's a fishing profession. And they just treat it like a fight. It's the same basic mechanics as a fight. With a couple added on for fishing.
That's
but,
really
like,
cute and
you
funny, but it's
start
also
fishing
very
and they're like, you got this, you can get them.
I kind of
It's
like
just
that.
really funny.
Aggressive positivity. Well, yeah, I do wonder though
Them
if you're
using
just
their
taking care of
magic to debuff a fish. It's funny.
trying to drown a fish. If you so like if you're taking care of just people in your town, then like is there any instances of like, oh, this is definitely not somebody's specialty, but regardless they have gotten really really good at fighting? So like let's say, yeah, of course you know where I'm gonna go with this vaguely, but like an Alfred Pennyworth sort of thing where like he is clearly like initially, and this is what he's good at primarily, he wants to be a butler, he wants to take care of this dude, but also he kicks ever-loving ass when necessary because he needs to at this point. He's trained to, it's become a necessity, and he's very skilled at it. And so is there any like that?
Yeah, I mean, they level up as they do things, and so I presume they get better. I am just so good at fighting, I don't really see it. They're kind of there just to support you, not necessarily to do everything for you. So there's a one that they are a miner, like a digging, not a child. They're a miner. And like they're slow about it, but they can mine certain ores around them. But I haven't really, I guess, leveled them up very much, so I've quickly gotten to the point in the game where like they can't mine certain things really, because everything has a level. So like if you're like a wood chopper, the tree is like level 3 and you're level whatever, and so you can do it or can't do it. And so there's like ore veins that are level 40, and I don't know what level he is, but fucking not 40. So he digs at it, and then I see the health bar chip down, and it goes immediately back up. So he actually can't do it.
Yeah, just like a fucking toddler trying to chop down a good, like a fucking, what is it, like a Chinese redwood.
Yeah, exactly like that. Um,
Yeah.
so
I
yeah,
hope I'm not getting the nation wrong. Yeah.
so I guess like if I especially went out and made him level up, you could probably do it. But at that point, I would just go and become a miner instead of having him level up and do it. So
Now,
I don't know. For me, I don't care about any of the gameplay to not do it. So I'll just go and do it if I need it done instead of having another person kind of build them up and do it.
Yeah. Sure, like past a certain point, you're playing a game still. Like it's
Yeah.
you're playing. But so now I do wonder when it comes to different lives that you occupy, or that the people of your town occupy. How much is there of like mixing expertise to where, like, I guess what I'm asking is theoretically, like, do you have to like prioritize one or two like individual things and not spread yourself out too thin, or could you just like theoretically get to a point where, like, you know, you've played this game all the time and for a good while, and so you have like super high level everything to where like essentially you're the avatar, you know, like, could you, is this possible, or do you need to focus on a certain thing?
You could definitely do that. I don't focus
Okay.
like I've barely done anything with the tailoring that I started with. And so like I branched out. I'm much better at mercenary. Oh gosh, there's another one that I chose. I know I have paladin. I don't do a lot with it though. I don't remember all of the lives off the top of my head. Let's see, fantasy live. Hi, lives. Um God, let me tell you how annoying it is that this new game's come out and it's done very well, and everything wants to talk about the original 3DS game. There we go.
Oh God.
No, here's what's actually pissing me off. The soundtrack isn't out yet. And so I can't
Fuck
listen
you.
to it. And it's a very good soundtrack. And I'm only giving them grace because the game literally came out like 5 days ago.
It's okay. Plenty of really good movie soundtracks haven't come out after 20 fucking years. It's
and I'm assuming whether or not they release it,
Yeah.
somebody will get it on the internet.
Yeah. Also,
So yeah,
I do enjoy
paladin, mercenary, magician, hunter, angler, miner, woodcutter, farmer, alchemist, cook, tailor, carpenter, blacksmith, and artist.
Yeah, you're not. This is, you're not 100%ing this unless you turn it into a true life sim.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff to do in this game. I'm probably gonna play it to where I have at least something in all of them. I don't know how feasible it is to do every quest because it seems kind of like Animal Crossing. People will just have random quests sometimes. One of my villagers wants like a silver sword, and I don't know if that's a specific quest for their story or if they just want a sword and they'll just sometimes want shit. So there is feasibly kind of infinite content and the kind of like if they just always want random shit and you have to go and get it.
I do think it's kind of cool that just as a little cute thing that as soon as I went to Steam, the first thing that it advertised was Fantasy Life, the girl who steals time.
It's doing very well. I think within 2 days they were like, this game is sold so well, we're gonna give you free DLC.
Yeah, there's over 5,000 reviews here, and it's at very positive already when it was only released on the 21st. We're currently on May 28th, so it's been a week. Yeah.
As of 2 days ago, it already broke 500,000 sales.
Good God.
And that was 2 days ago.
And it's an indie game?
This is from Level 5 Studios, which I think they've done quite a bit, but let me try to see all of their games.
Also, I initially, by your description, assumed that it would like, and also by the poster, assumed that it would prioritize 2D. This is a nice little, like, stylized 3D feel of like, and I see the Animal Crossing comparisons, and I also, frankly, some of it rings of like Tomodachi Life. And
I would not
eh,
compare this to Tomodachi Life.
okay. But I do
Tomodachi Life
like
is very unique.
I like the aesthetics of this is basically what I'm
Yeah.
getting at, whether or not the direct comparisons. This is a very nice style. And I also like that it seems to have RPG elements, but it's also like not super like okay. One thing that steers me away from a lot of RPGs is firstly, I know that it's got a lot of a lot of them have dense systems of gameplay for different parts of it because they want it to be a rich, layered uh you know system of their video game that you can pour lots of your time into and feel fulfilled because that's the hobby of playing a really rich, layered, fulfilling video game. But also, like, what steers me away from a lot of them is it feels like if I had never touched GIMP before and I just picked it up fucking today, and I'm like, come on. Like, I don't want to have to go through 1,000 tutorials for this, but this looks like it's kind of lending to that, but that it's much more simplified, spaced out, and it's I know this is kind of a dirty word, but some of the merits of like mobile game aesthetic to where it's more readable, to where it's more like cohesive, to where it's arguably simplified, but in a way that lends itself to a more streamlined experience sometimes. I think they're using that to their benefit here.
Yeah, I think, like how it says in its own description, it's a slow life RPG. So I went, I think, particularly fast, and I still am only like just getting into the depths of it. So it goes pretty slow for you. It lets you learn over time. It's not going to throw everything at you at once, for sure.
Do you recommend playing it with a mouse and keyboard or controller? Because it has a lot of
I
controller
have been
stuff.
playing it with a controller.
Okay. This looks really good. I like, especially because now I'm actually getting a specific look at the monsters. I should have looked at it before. This is looking like a really good game. Yeah, getting 2 thumbs
I
up.
highly recommend this game. Also, level 5 games, other games they've made, the Ni no Kuni series, Professor Layton. Let's see, just a lot of. Oh, there's the original Fantasy Life from 2012. They did the Yokai Watch series, which has been fucking huge. Also, it seems like they do a fairly few, but very well noted series like Yokai Watch, Professor Layton.
Also,
Ni no Kuni.
A lot of this kind of just seems like it's kind of lending a comparison to Animal Crossing, but I also know that is this the last screenshot? Yeah, the last screenshot is just, come on, you know what you're doing.
Let me have a look at it.
Okay, it's the pink room.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you get a house and then you can upgrade it later for more money, and
I'm not complaining, but you know exactly what you're doing, game. Oh, and
I do actually like having the style of game be so much like Animal Crossing, but it isn't that you're working to pay off the debt of the house. You just pay for it and you get it. You just gotta work for it. So it's not like you're working off a debt, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
As opposed to having to pay Tom Nook.
Yeah. I mean, we have our gripes about Tom Nook in this house.
Yeah, Fantasy Life.
Anyway,
very good.
Got any other ones you want to look at?
I haven't really been playing anything else. I've been playing more Balatro, but that's just for anybody that wants it. Balatro has a mod manager now. Makes it real easy.
Oh god.
Real easy to
drown
mod.
Their whole life into this.
I had there was a Joker that if the first hand that I played was a single queen card, it added 0.5 to my multiplier. And then destroyed the queen. And I was like, okay, well, I have 4 queens to start with. Maybe I'll get more down the line and I can get like a pretty decent multiplier. I then got another Joker that if the first hand you play is a single card, duplicate the card and put it in your hand. So I had infinite queens. So it would duplicate it, and then the original would get destroyed. So I wouldn't actually get destroyed.
Sometimes, like, when people talk about Balatro, it makes me think of a scenario where I'm like, well, like in an alternate universe where I was into poker. Like, I'm thinking, oh, this is what they're turning poker into. This is like past what point are you missing the point of poker and turning it into a whole other thing? I do think it's a fun idea. It's just it's weird what it's attaching to. This is not a genuine complaint, to be very, very clear. It's just, I think it's a funny kind of, I don't know if you'd call it a juxtaposition or comparison or whatever, but yeah.
But yeah, very much having fun with more modded Balatro. Let's see, what else? I don't think I've really been playing too much else this last week. Oh, so Gary's mod. You remember that?
What? Of course I do.
Remember Gary's mod.
It was like half my fucking life for a while.
I didn't know that you could just get the like in development sandbox now that Gary's making.
What do you mean?
You know that, so he's making a sequel game.
I think I like heard vaguely of this over a year ago.
It's called Sandbox.
Okay.
I haven't played much of it, but you can just get into it. I need to find.
Yeah, keep in mind, by the way, I haven't been like a Gary's Mod guy since like I want to say more than a decade at this point.
But yeah,
it
so
might be
new
just about a
one
decade.
is in Source 2, the new Source 2 engine.
I'm really interested in seeing this, actually.
Yeah, I loaded it up. I did a round of prop hunt where I couldn't quite figure out the controls because there's one that like you can ragdoll that object you are, so I wanted the book that I chose to lay flat, but it kept getting reset to stand upright, and so it looked wrong, and so I got caught, and so I closed the game, and I haven't opened it since. But yeah, so I'm gonna check that out more. You can just download it, put the link in the Discord.
One thing I've been impressed about with Source 2 is it's like one of those like high fidelity it's one of those high fidelity engines that has turned out to be way more fucking performant than I thought it would be. Like my computer, need I remind folks, I'm on a 1066 gig, comparable other like hardware in here as well. I'm not like on a, it's not your grandpa's machine, but it's also not your nephew's machine. And so it's like I'm in kind of a sweet spot of just barely enough for like someone with not too high standards to feasibly run a AAA game. And I remember Counter-Strike 2 running most of the time butter smooth with only a few hitches, and it looked beautiful. It looked like, it didn't really look like much real-time lighting, but it looked high def, stunning. It looked like something I would really expect to only watch someone else play on their machine. And I'm really excited if you could bring the magic of Gary's Mod to something like that. I mean, I remember fucking back in the day making pod racers in servers. Like if for those who don't know, with like, you know, spawning props and everything, the basic mechanics of Gary's Mod, like you would put two, was it train cars or buses beside each other was like the default way people would do it. You could do it with anything really, but this is to get the shape. And then you would put the fucking, it's a vehicle that exists in real life, the like thing with the chair and the two water things, and you would, you know, it had like the giant fan behind it.
The boat thing,
yeah. And you would like one of the, I guess like an initiation almost into like getting to know building in Gary's Mod, at least at the time. This was like the early mid 2010s. Yeah, you would then like attach the right like tethers and ropes and little like you know, levitating elements here and there, and do it like true to the game's physics, and you would attach the thrusters, and you would get like a really well working pod racer that you could just like add stuff onto as if you're playing Legos with a car. and you could add like chairs to it, whatever you want, wherever you want for all your friends. You could make it go up and down if you want to, or don't if you don't give a shit, and that's just like kind of the one like widely known concept by a lot of nerds that you could just shake free the entire concept of building in Gary's mod from. Like, this is shaking free a whole bunch of memories. I would love to see whatever the modern take is on that, or what even the kids these days are doing instead of a pod racer, because now it's like 20 plus years beyond beyond when that was like more relevant, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say with Sandbox, it isn't just limited to like what people can do with like Half-Life assets, because obviously this doesn't have any Half-Life assets. It is its own thing.
Yeah.
So it is, and it's still very early in development, it says, so it isn't perfect. And apparently its sandbox mode is not great, which is weird. From what I've heard, like somebody had to go in and make a fan created game for Sandbox. It's called Sandbox Classic, which I hear that one's much better. But people can make any kind of games. There's like 2D games in this. There's like Vampire Survivors type stuff. So it's like it's a much more free engine in terms of what you can make in this than the old Gary's mods. So I don't think it's going to become a replacement. I don't think that's going to happen. But I think it's going to be a very interesting new thing.
I have
but obviously there's
hope.
TTT, there's Prop Hunt, there's all of those amazing things people have already made.
I have some immediate pros and cons that immediately jump out with the description you just gave. Firstly, again, it's been a while, but I don't know what I would do with a Gary's mod equivalent that doesn't have the library of Half-Life 2 assets or some equivalent. And so that's curious and a little bit alarming to me, but I mean, I'm willing to see it. But secondly,
they are making their own library of assets. It's just not going to look like Half-Life specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Probably won't look far off, but
I was just going to say capture the same spirit at least. But yeah, I wonder what stuff like, because one thing that my buddy back in the day roped me into was they liked playing Dark RP. It was essentially like an imitation of a GTA kind of GTA Online kind of vibe, but in Gary's mod and in a much smaller world, at least as far as I could see. And like I was just the guy that like let my character starve to death because I didn't want to go through the fucking thing of like, getting food, getting money for food, but I would run the YouTube player movie theater. Which, by the way, in the VR chat recreation of certain Gary's mod worlds, they've done I think it might even be some of the Dark RP worlds. They include a lot of it. Can't find where the YouTube movie theater, like I can't find where that was going to be put. I used to put the Gold Rush, the Charlie Chaplin film. You can find it now on YouTube. It's public domain. I used to put that on because I love that movie so much. It's like, who's going to say shit? This is public domain. Some comedy icons. But yeah, anyway, I went in and did that, and I wonder if that's like similar experience is feasible in either Sandbox Classic or in this new one.
I'll tell you, there's a list of games that people have made. I don't know how they are listing it. I'm presuming by popularity. Actually, I just saw over on the left, it says popularity. The second one on the list is DXRP, which I presume is Dark RP.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I always knew that was like one of the more popular ones I barely wanted to touch. I'm a Sandbox guy, so...
Yeah. So third is Sandbox Classic. Resource Haven is number 1, which I guess is some kind of tycoon game.
That makes sense. Those are fun.
Then there's Sausage Survivors, which is Vampire Survivors. There's Sprain, which there's a gif of you throw yourself off of a cliff and try to break as many bones as possible.
so just Skate 3, but in
Yeah.
there. That's kind of fun. All right, I can vibe with that shit.
There is one called Death Card, which what is this? Explore randomly generated treacherous dungeons filled with hordes of fearsome creatures. Face off against bosses, so it's like a dungeon crawler, but it's all voxels, so it looks like Minecraft 2. if you want to think about what Minecraft 2 would look like, just more voxels.
Okay.
So like this doesn't even use the same art style at all, which means Sausage Survivors didn't either. It's a 2D game. Prop Hunt looks exactly like old Prop Hunt does. It just looks like Source 2 instead of Source 1.
I mean, I feel like that's only appropriate.
So, yeah. It looks like a lot of stuff's coming over. Terry Games, which looks like Squid Games. I'm just looking at this list now for the first time.
I might be misjudging the target audience of like modern day Gary's Mod aficionados, but I'm a little surprised that if you mentioned FNAF, I didn't catch it.
Oh yeah, no, I did not mention it, but it is definitely there.
Oh, okay.
Somebody
so it is
has
there.
created Five Nights at Freddy's. It actually looks pretty impressive.
Like I imagine so. It's just like when you mentioned like Squid Game, I'm like, oh, okay, so they're putting the cute shit horror in there. Okay, it's I mean, you gotta have it. Yeah. So the Squid Game's in the fucking FNAF. Yeah.
FNAF made proudly in the Canadian rectangle. Don't know what the fuck that means, but okay.
What the fuck in any what?
No clue.
What?
No clue.
I'm more confused about rectangle. What are you talking about? Oh, wait. Hold on. Are they just talking about Saskatchewan?
Maybe.
Give me a second. I gotta hold on just for a quick second. I gotta brush up on my Canadian geography for a second, because there's like 3 provinces at the bottom center of Canada that I never remember correctly which one is which, because they're all a vaguely similar shape. Hold on. Yes, I know these are the Great Lakes. Hold on. So, yeah, they're totally. I could put money on they are talking about Saskatchewan. It is the only almost perfect rectangle province. It's more of a like really tall trapezoid, but you get it. Yeah.
Yeah, might have to check out more of these games, see what they got going.
It's in Regina, isn't it?
You can't say that on the internet.
Oh, sorry. Like, we didn't say condom like an hour ago.
Who's we?
Oh, God.
Anyway. I think that might be our show.
It was really great being here with you, Ashley. I hope you liked it.